I wanted to tell you about a book that I was reading last night. So, I started to read this book about these animals, and they were going to the movies. I'm pretty sure it was about them going to the movies. But I was a little bit confused while I was reading it. And there was this part in this book that I just had to show you guys because I was a little bit confused on what was happening. So I started to read it, but then I got stuck. So I'm going to read this part to you, and then I need your help. So they started out by saying they have an animal on them from I'm not sure what that word is. I'm just going to skip it for now, and then I'll come back. I don't think any kid ever watched. And then there was this picture on the book. And I was thinking to myself, I don't want to give up. I don't want to skip the word, but I just don't exactly know what it is. So, for our skill today, boys and girls, we are going to make attempts that make sense. So what I mean by that is that I can use the information on the page to help me figure out this tricky word. So, I had this picture in the book, and it didn't look exactly like this, but I remembered it in my head. So this is the part I remember from the story. I want to show you guys what I've learned about how I can figure out this tricky word. And we have to take a couple of steps. So, step 1. I drew a thinking bubble because I need to think. It says, play, show, movie. These are the words I was coming up with in my head when I was trying to figure out what this word was. Because I was using my pictures and I was using the information around it. They have an animal on them and I couldn't think. Was the word play? Was it show? Was it movie? Because this is all I had to use to help me figure out what the word was. I don't think any kid ever watched. So boys and girls, when I try and figure this out, my first step is to think. So I'm going to write that in right there. Step 1 is think. So this was me last night thinking, and I was like, play? They have an animal on them from a play I don't think any kid ever watched, but it doesn't look right to me. So the next step that I have to take to figure out this word is to check the letters. So that's what I'm going to put right here. Check the letters. So I'm going to bring that picture back up from the story that I was reading. And I need to check the letters because my guesses didn't exactly match up. Play. That's not a P, so I probably should guess a different word. My second guess was show. No, that doesn't look right either. Movie? It did look like a movie, but it still didn't make any sense. I was super confused. So I need to check my letters. So I'm going to take some of the skills that we've been talking about the past week, and I'm going to chunk the word apart and see if I just know the front part. Okay, I know this word. Car. Car. Okay. Now I need to see this part and figure out what this word is. Who can help me out with this part of the word? Can you raise your hand to help me out? Just the part I'm covering, or the part I'm not covering. I only want this part read to me, because I know this says car. So can you help me with this word, Xander? Tune? Tune. Okay. Cartoon. It says cartoon. They have an animal on them from a cartoon. Oh, that's what that picture is. From a cartoon I don't think any kid ever watched. Now the book makes sense to me and I can finish reading it tonight. Thank you for your help, Xander. So boys and girls, in my second thought bubble, I need to write that explanation of what I did. So I broke the word into two parts. So I said car, and then I knew it, okay, car, And then Xander helped me figure out tune. And then I was thinking, what? Tune? What are they talking about? But then I put it together. Cartoon. And then I checked my picture because I know that's a skill we can use to see if it made sense. And it was. Cartoon. That's what they were trying to show me in the book. So boys and girls, if you can't quite figure out what the story is trying to tell you, this is a really good skill to use. Make attempts that make sense. So step 1 is to think. If you have the picture or words around the tricky word to help you figure it out, it's always okay to try these. Play, show, movie. These all were really good ideas for what this picture was about, but then I needed to check my letters and make sure the letters matched up. So I'm going to show you in a story exactly how we can do that, okay? I brought for you guys a read aloud called Storm is Coming by Heather Tekovec, illustrated by Margaret Spengler. Look at all the characters in this story. Okay, so as I'm reading, if I get to a tricky word, my first job is to stop and think. I can try and say the word, I can try and figure it out, but then I need to check the letters, okay? Storm is coming. The old farmer leaped out of his chair and clicked the radio off. Hear that, dog? He bellowed. Storm is coming. We better get the animals safely in the barn. Dog sprang to his feet and bounded out the door. Storm is coming! Storm is coming! Barked Dog. We have to get to the barn quickly. Frightened, the sheep Oh, I'm stuck on a tricky word. I want you guys to look here. Frightened, the sheep I don't know. I'm going to skip it for now and then I'll come back after the dog toward the barn. I'm going to try and come up with some words to see if I can figure it out. Hurried. It looks like they're hurrying. Can somebody else help me come up with some words to describe what the sheep are doing? Landon, what are these sheep doing right now?
They're chasing the dog.
Chasing, okay. Chasing. Frightened, the sheep chasing after dog toward the barn. That is a word that could fit there, but now our next step, Landon, is to check the letters, okay? Chasing. Ch, ch, ch. I know that CH together says ch. And I'm going to check right here. So I don't think chasing is going to fit right here. Can somebody else help me think of a word that could go right here? We know it starts with R. Kaya, can you help me out?
Running with the dog.
Running.
To the barn.
Running. Frightened, the sheep running after dog toward the barn. Kaya, I see that your word that you came up with starts with the same letter as this word. So now we're going to check the next letter. this is a super tricky word. I need some extra help for this. So it does look like running, but our next letter is an A, so I need to think about all the sounds that A can make. A and A. Zayden, can I have you unmute and help me sound this word out? We're super close, boys and girls. So, Nick, Zayden, I'm gonna give you a little bit of help with this, okay? Because I just remembered something. I just remembered that sometimes the A can say A if we have this sneaky E here. And I see a sneaky E. So I want you to try this A by saying A instead of A. Race. Race.
Race.
And then ED. Raced. Let's say it quick.
Raced.
Raced. Okay. Let's see if it makes sense now. We have to get to the barn quickly. Frightened, the sheep raced after dog toward the barn. Does that fit?
Yeah.
It does. So boys and girls, we made an attempt that made sense. We tried chasing, we tried running, and those were really good attempts to think about. But when we checked the letters, we were able to figure out this tricky word. Thank you for your help. Now we can keep reading. On the way, they passed the pond where Duck was paddling. Storm is coming! Storm is coming, the sheep bleated. We have to get to the barn quickly. The cows in the pasture. Oh, another tricky word. I'm just going to skip it for now and then I'll come back. The cows in the pasture up as the animals sped by. Storm is coming, quacked, Duck quacked. I skipped this word, boys and girls, and I know that I've seen part of this word before, but I need to think, and I'm going to use my pictures to try and help me. The cows in the pasture. Questioned? Oh, I need some help with this word, and I'm going to call on somebody, that has their hand raised. Petra, can you help me with this word? I thought maybe the word was questioned, but I don't know if that fits there.
You know, sometimes sounding it out make it help or looking at the pictures.
Okay, so let's try that, all right? Will you help me with this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I used the pictures and I thought maybe the cows looked like they were questioning the duck. They're like, what? Because look at the duck. It's flying away. But you're right. I think that we should try and sound it out and see if the letters help us. So Petra, can you help me sound this word out? Would this help if I chunked the word like this? Because this is one of our sight words we've been practicing.
I think they're running.
I think they're running too. The cows in the pasture running up as the animals fed by. So running doesn't quite fit, Petra. So let's try another strategy. Let's chunk the word. And I want you to call in a friend, Petra, that has their hand raised to help with just this part that I'm showing you, okay? So go ahead and see who's raising their hand.
I'll pick Kaya.
Kaya. Kaya, can you help with just the word that I'm uncovering?
But in front of it?
Right here. This part right here. Look! Nice job, Kaya. Look. So, Kaya, that was perfect. Thank you. So, Petra, now that we know that this part says look, we can add this last little part here. So, Petra, what can we do? Look. Looked. So, ed sometimes says ed, sometimes it says d, and sometimes it says t. So we're going to try all three of those, okay? Looked, 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 or looked. Which one sounded best? Looked. Can you say that t at the end? Looked. Looked. That means it already happened. The cows in the pasture looked up as the animals sped by. So we took that word apart, boys and girls, and we checked the letters to make sure it worked. So we were able to use these two steps right here to figure out tricky words in a book. We used pictures to help us, and we used all of the words around the tricky word to see if it made sense. So as you read your library books that we check out to you, and the little paper books that we read together as a class, and while you read on Raz Kids, I want you to be using this strategy. If you don't know the word, if it's a tricky word, I don't want you to give up. I want you to go back to it after you read the sentence. Think if you can fill in that word with another word that might make sense. Then, as you check that word, I want you to see if the letters match up. So we had some pretty good ideas of what those words could be, but we needed some extra help with checking the letters. So, when you guys are reading today, I want you to be practicing with this skill.